Rookie mistake.
The one chord we didn't check.
Hey everybody, let's can you hear me now? Tell me in the comments if that worked. We are on the laptop microphone. We have switched to the microphone. Y'all let me know if that worked. Everyone should be able to hear just fine. Much better. Sound is good. I can hear. Good. How about that? Yeah, we were on the laptop microphone, and for some reason that did not work. We switched over to the main mixer mic, and everything is good. Everyone's like, start over. Hey, that's all good. We're just a couple minutes into the show. I am sitting here with Ty Garrett, owner of Extreme Martial Arts. How are y'all doing today here on Midweek Motivation Live? People have already been tuning in, asking the questions and the comments. I can't hear where sound is working back on now. And glad that all of you are here. Larry, Gina, Elva, Pete, Cody, Frank. Man, we got people watching from all over. Ty Garrett's the owner of Extreme Martial Arts. Years ago, my daughter was in need of some direction. Erica, many of you that know that works for me here, needed some direction as a very young girl, and I thought this would be great for her. She attended Extreme Martial Arts with a friend on a movie night and thought she would like to get into it, and over the next few years, you taught her. Some of your other instructors taught her direction, focus, a lot of the things that a young girl needs. It was very good for her. And we became friends at that time. And through the years, I've always been impressed by your drive, your discipline, your common courtesy that a lot of people don't have. But talk to the people here a little bit. We will do this a little bit over. Go ahead and give people a little bit more introduction of who you are and what you do.
You got it. My name's Ty Garrett. I have been doing martial arts since I was a 7-year-old boy. I'm in my 40s now, and I just love martial arts. I grew up here in Amarillo, moved away to go to Texas Tech, and came back and opened up a gym in 2006. And we have been growing Extreme Martial Arts slowly and steadily over the years. We now have 3 locations, one in Mansfield, one in New Braunfels, and our HQ is right here in Amarillo, Texas. And I just really love what martial arts gives to me, is kind of what you referred to on your daughter. It gives me focus, it gives me drive, and then what I really like, it gives courtesy and respect. It's just built into it. And typically, I can run into a martial artist from another school, and right away I can tell this kid's making eye contact, he's saying yes sir, no sir. He just acts and speaks almost like from a different era. You know,
it really is. Huh?
My grandparents' generation, everyone was polite, or at least that's how I remember it.
Yes.
And then more so with my parents, and then I think it's my generation to drop the ball. You get a lot of yas and not paying attention, right? And the next generation's even worse. So I think just yes sir, no sir, eye contact, firm handshake, those little things, whether you learn that from football, baseball, martial arts, but those little things go a long way. That's one of the cornerstones we teach at our gym.
Absolutely. I love that. I had a store manager at a store when I was a young teenager, 15, 16 years old, Jim Cornish out in Oregon. And he got all of us kids together one day, and he gave us the speech. I never graduated high school. I started at the bottom, cleaning toilets. I worked my way up and started teaching us how to be a man. Handshake, look them in the eye, be polite, open the door for a lady, yes sir, no sir. And those are all concepts that have followed me all of my life. I'm not perfect at it either. And I am a little older than some of the people watching the show, so I still am pretty good at that. But you've always impressed me with that from the moment I met you. So I want to talk to you a little bit. We're going to dig into this because a lot of these concepts that you teach, as a matter of fact, you've turned into a curriculum now for martial arts, correct?
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that. I think you're wearing it on your shirt.
Yeah, it's actually my instructor's affiliation. I was in a real big jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is the one that looks more like wrestling. It's chokes and throws and pins. Erica learned jiu-jitsu from me way back when. And then I'm in a real big jiu-jitsu organization where my instructor brings in all his owners, all his black belts throughout the country. And then the other style we teach is kickboxing, which is the kicks, the punches. I was telling my kickboxing coach, because he's famous, he's an 8-time world champion, he's a boxing world champion, kickboxing world champion. I was telling Mr. Dorsey, like, you should start a kickboxing organization where you bring in all your black belts, and then 3 times a year we all train together, and this will make the whole team stronger as a whole.
Sure.
He's like, that's a great idea. And then one day he calls me and goes, Mr. Garrett, we're going to start that kickboxing organization you were talking about. I was like, great, I'll be your first client. He goes, no, you're going to run it. He goes, out of all my black belts, your school's the biggest, you have the best curriculum, and you have the best students. I'm going to use your business model. We'll use my name, my pool, and then we're going to start a kickboxing organization together. And I kind of told him, I don't mind you using my curriculum, sir. That's a huge honor.
Huge.
I have no tech skills. We're going to need to bring in a Facebook guy, a marketing guy, an online digital guy. We're trying to market to hundreds of other dojos.
Oh, yeah.
So he let me bring in one of my black belts who's really good at all that, because I'm a white belt in
White belt
internet marketing. Yes, sir. So he let me bring in a third guy. So now we have about 12, maybe 20 schools that are using his curriculum, and it's so cool. Every 90 days or so, we bring in all these black belts throughout the country. The next meeting's actually here in Amarillo, and we all get to train together. And these are guys I've grown up fighting tournaments throughout the years. So it's almost like high school reunion. You get to see everybody from the good old days, except at the end of our high school reunion, we all punch each other because we're kickboxers. So it's more,
what we do.
it's more satisfying.
We get together and fight. I love it. Let's talk a little bit about a couple of awards you have won. You've been doing this a long time now. You said since when you were very young. You've won some accolades, and you've got a couple of belts under your belt.
Yes, sir.
Right.
The biggest one would be I won a couple amateur world titles in kickboxing.
Right.
I fought in Orlando for the title several times. I fought in Vegas a few times. So it's really cool getting to just essentially tour the country, and then we'll go someplace, we'll take a fight, and then typically we stay for a week and kind of make it a vacation. My first big fight on TV was actually the day before my wedding.
Really?
Yeah, we were broke.
Right.
And if I fought on TV, the promoter would kind of, since we attached it to our wedding, he paid for our honeymoon.
Oh,
he got my airplane tickets, hotel, stuff like that. We had to Photoshop a cut off of my eyebrow, and then the next day,
make it family friendly.
Yeah, I knocked the guy down with the left hook. My finger was swollen, my left hand.
Oh no!
And I remember my sweet little wife puts the ring on. It doesn't go past that first knuckle. The preacher goes, for better or worse, and she backs that ring up, and she rams it on full speed.
Oh my gosh!
That hurt worse than the whole fight.
Yeah, I know your wife. I can see her doing that. That's awesome.
With the cutest smile on her face. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there are a couple of times through the year she would wish she could do that again as well. But you guys are a great partnership. I believe you and Casey as husband and wife and leaders, and she's also a black belt.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yep. She's actually she trained with me back in college, and then she was one of my very first black belts. Then she slowed down when we started having kiddos, and now we have 3, and my youngest is 6. So now she's training all the time. She's actually training for her 2nd-degree black belt test. She's going to be testing when my daughter tests for her junior black belt. It'll be the same day. It'll be really cool.
That is so exciting. Yes, many of you that don't know or you don't have experience at extreme martial arts, Ty and Casey have 3 kids, Stryker, Graceland, and Maverick. And they're all 3 training, and they're all 3 competing. And I watch them and live vicariously through them on Facebook, as many of you do, to watch the competitions that they go to and the awards that they win. You don't brag about. We don't say these things to brag, but the house is full of awards. The dojo is full of awards. You teach everyone there that you're not just a teacher, that you practice what you preach. You all compete. You have a lot of students that compete and go out and win awards as well, right?
Well, we don't make our students compete. We have about 400, and we probably have about 30 people on the competition team. So 5, maybe 10% of the students compete. For those that love it, it's a fun lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And then for rational people that don't want to get punched in the face, half naked, wearing almost a swimsuit in a boxing ring in front of 500 strangers.
That'd be me. I'm that guy.
That's what the regular class is for.
Right.
That's what most of our students do.
Absolutely. Frank Gordeau, I know this answer. I grew up with kickboxing and taught it at the YN Dumas. Do you remember Bill Superfoot Wallace?
He was at my gym earlier this year.
He was. I saw that.
He comes to my gym about twice a year. He's phenomenal.
I remember being a Chuck Norris fan, like every young man was pretty much in the 70s and 80s, and following the Chuck Norris movies. And then Bill Superfoot made a bunch of movies and I think he invented or was the first promoter for kicking jeans. I'm dating myself. He created these jeans that you could perform martial arts in, the way that they were all sewn, and you could wear a nice pair of jeans. A regular pair of jeans would be kind of hard to do martial arts in. They're pretty tight and less forgiving. But Bill Hoopfoot Wallace, invented kicking jeans. Those were pretty awesome.
Now, he's one of those guys, they say don't meet your heroes. They weren't talking about Bill.
Yeah.
Bill is so cool. He will come over. He's in his mid-70s. He will play with my kids like he's grandpa. And then he'll go teach a seminar full of guys my age and 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
And he's kicking straight above his head, still doing the full splits, still as fast as my 20-year-old athletes. He's just an inspiration as an athlete.
That truly is. Well, let's get into some of these questions people want to know. Let's talk about discipline, how important that is in your life. You wouldn't have been able to meet these people, achieve the things that you've achieved in your life without discipline. You practice it incredibly. That's always impressed me. Dig into that a little bit. Let's talk about discipline. The show is, the motto of the show is helping you, motivating you to success in every area of life. And we talk about faith, we talk about finances, we talk about relationships. Let's talk about something that a lot of people lack. Younger generation, we're not picking on them. It's kind of been bred out, but it's one of the leading factors that makes you the person that you are, correct?
Well, I would actually say discipline is a muscle, and you can only flex it so hard. And it's just like any muscle. If I want my bicep bigger, I'm going to work it today, then I take tomorrow off, then the next day I'm even stronger. Mm-hmm. So yes, we want to flex that muscle regularly to get it bigger, but at a certain point, you only have so much discipline. So one of my big things I do is I just try to eliminate choice. So now it's not discipline. I have no other option. You burn the boats behind you, so you have to attack.
Yep.
So what does that have to do with everyday life? If I want to get more cardio, I'm going to ride my bicycle to the gym. So now you drove your car, it took 8 minutes. I rode my bike, it takes 30 minutes. Now you have to go get dressed. Well, I'm already dressed because I rode my bike in workout clothes. Right. Now you need to go stretch and warm up. I already warmed up. I did a 30-minute bike ride. And now we both do the same workout. We eat up the same amount of time because you spent 5 minutes in the locker room chit-chatting. Yeah. Took you a few minutes to stretch and warm up. I'm already warmed up because of the bike ride. I've already burned 300-400 calories because of the bike ride. Me and you do the exact same workout. Now you go to wherever you go. I got to ride my bike home. I get another 30 minutes of cardio. So that's like just an easy hack I do every day as I ride my bicycle to work. I only live 3 miles away. It's not anything crazy. Sure. But after I do a killer workout, the last thing I want to do is get on the exercise bike.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to get home. So I have to I ride my regular bicycle home. So I eliminate choice. If you surround yourself with donuts, you can practice discipline and go, nope, I'm not going to do that. Nope, I'm not going to eat that. No. But I'm wasting all that discipline. So I'm real big on don't present yourself opportunities that you know you don't want. Don't hang around. If you don't want to drink, don't hang around your friends when they're drinking.
Right.
Because now you're going to, no, I don't want that. No, I don't want. Well, you're flexing that muscle for no reason. I want to flex that discipline muscle when I need it later. I never consider cheating on my wife. It's not an option to me. Right. But if every day I was like, am I going to be faithful today? I didn't like what she cooked yesterday. Now I'm flexing that muscle. You just eliminate.
It applies to every area of life.
Do you consider not showing up to work, Patrick?
I would be hungry and no one would eat at my house if I did.
So it's not an option. It's not an option.
It's not an option. People are surprised that I actually come to the office as a realtor, that I come to the office as much as I do. Because they say all the money's made where the people are. But I'm like, this is where I am. And right now, this is where the people are.
Yes, sir.
So it's not coming to work is not an option for me.
Yeah, exactly. And once you eliminate the choice, it doesn't take discipline.
Right.
But if every day you woke up and you gave yourself the option, do I work today or do I Netflix today?
Yeah.
Well, some days you'll be great and some days you'll be a bum, and then that consistency is not there. So whenever possible, eliminate choice. Don't keep junk fruit in the fridge. Don't keep junk fruit in the pantry. If I'm going to have a cheat meal, I'm going to have to drive all the way to Walmart, buy some garbage I know I don't need to eat. And then
ride your bike to Walmart.
Ride my bike to Walmart, burn it off, yeah. But I just eliminate choice, and then I'm not flexing that discipline muscle near as hard. So anytime you can just make it part of your routine where there's no option but to move forward, now you're not flexing that discipline muscle as hard. And then when you are actually tempted later on, that muscle's still fresh.
Right. I love that. We teach on here decision. Basically, if you go into the root, a decision is like an incision. You're cutting something off. So when you decide, it's like homicide, suicide, whatever. You are deciding. You're removing the options, and you're only leaving what you want.
Yes, sir.
So you're deciding to eliminate all options. So make the decision. I tell everyone, you make the decision, then that decision makes you. If you
100%.
have the discipline to follow through with that. I love that. Very important. Great answer. That Frank says that's awesome. Sal, good morning. Focus, drive, respect. Little things go a long way. Amen. That's great.
Can I tell you something about respect?
Absolutely.
So when I was at Texas Tech, and I tell this story to my students all the time, it literally saved me thousands of dollars because I owned my own dojo. It was a dumb thing to do, but I opened a dojo to pay for my Texas Tech education. So I didn't know how to run a business, so I opened a business to pay for school. Anyways, don't do that, kids. But that's what I did.
Lesson.
I was in a class of 300, and every class, it was Tuesday, Thursday, 9 a.m. every day. Everything's going great. And he says, the final will be Thursday night, 7 p.m. I was the only employee at the gym I opened.
Wow.
Didn't want to close my gym, so I just asked the professor. I go, sir, is there any way I could take the test either earlier or later or do something else? And I explained, I own a small business. I don't want to close my gym for a whole day so I can take an accounting test. And he goes, absolutely not. I've never let someone take the test early because you can tell the other students what's on the test. And if you take the test late, you can ask your friends what's on the test. That's unfair. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm either going to have to close my gym for the day, which I really don't want to do because I want to service my students, or if I fail the test by not showing up, it was my senior year, I'm going to have to take this one course again, which is going to cost me thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And then he goes, however, I'm going to let you take the test early, Mr. Garrett. Do you know why? And I was like, I have no idea, sir. He goes, I have 300 students. I don't know hardly anyone's names. I know your name because every time you ask me a question, you make eye contact and you say, yes, sir, no, sir, or thank you, sir, at the end. 300 students, you're the only one who's polite to me. I'm going to let you take the test early.
Wow.
So, I mean, I wasn't saying yes, sir, or no, sir to him, thinking later on he'll let me, There was no alternative motive. That was just the way I was taught to speak to adults.
It's your lifestyle.
It's my lifestyle. But the little thing, and I wasn't the best student. It wasn't the worst. I was just kind of middle of the pack. But he said I stuck out because I made eye contact. I said yes, sir, no, sir. And I just spoke to him differently than all the other 18, 19, 20-year-old kids in the class. And that one little small gesture of respect sped my life up 6 months. Otherwise, I would have gone one more semester before I moved here and opened my dojo. So that gave me 6 more months of life, saved me thousands of dollars in tuition. Yeah. And all I did was add the word sir at the end of each sentence.
That's incredible.
Huge risk. No risk, huge reward.
Pay attention, people. Good. You're learning. These are life lessons here. What are some good ways you teach both your students and your own children these concepts? Is this something it's really part of your lesson, part of your curriculum, or is it something that you specifically, like some days of the week, we're going to break it down and we're just going to have lessons on courtesy, things like that? How are some of the ways you focus this and teach it to your kids?
It's a great question. For the life skill stuff, the character development, the non-kicking and punching, it's on a schedule. When stuff's on a schedule, it gets done. I think we all have the best intentions. Oh, I'm going to get to that. Or I'm going to get to that. And then you just don't. Or life gets in the way. Or, I need to go buy a new car. I mean, life gets in the way all the time. Life's always punching us in the face.
Sure.
So I love having things on a schedule. In our classes, what I like to do is I like it to get really tired. So if it's kids, we might do 30 push-ups, 50 jumping jacks. All right, everybody come in, take a knee. Now they're so exhausted, they will actually listen to me for the next 3 minutes. With the adults, we do the exact same thing. Get them exhausted where they want the break. Maybe doing burpees, bag sprints, just destroy the bag. Then we come in, we drop whatever character development lesson is on the schedule for that month. This month, we're actually talking about self-worth. So the lesson I taught yesterday, we were talking about who's got that voice on their shoulder.
Uh-huh.
Used to, when we were kids, it was the devil and the angel.
Devil and the angel, sure.
And the devil tells you, you're no good. You're not smart enough. You're not strong enough. You're not fast enough. You're not tall enough. You're not good looking enough. You're not fill in the blank. And if we listen to that voice, we're going to act on it.
sure.
Or we won't act at all, which is even worse. We'll be like, all right,
Yeah.
I won't swing the bat. I'm not good enough. And then we fail by default.
Right.
So one of my instructors a long time ago taught me, if you're here today, you've mastered several things that you used to be terrible at. Anytime you hear that devil's voice, I want you to stop and go, what are 3 things you've mastered that you used to be bad at? So like, I'm sure you weren't good at selling houses at one point.
Not at one point.
You weren't good at buying houses at one point, and you weren't good at marketing. And now I look at you, you're good at all 3.
Yeah.
So whatever your next task is that maybe you're not good at right now, well, you mastered those 3. Odds are if you spend enough time, you'll master this one.
Agreed.
So I love that idea. And then he told me, do you know what I'm usually going to tell you? And if I'm honest with him, I usually do.
Yeah.
When I mess up, whether it's my parents, my coaches, my mentors, usually they tell me, don't make the same mistake. Get up and let's try again.
Absolutely.
So I don't always need my coach right there because I know what he's going to say. Dust yourself off, Ty. Don't get hit with the same move. And let's try again. A little harder, a little faster. Let's be first this time. And I love that idea because even when my coach is not with me, he's with me. Because anytime I start to hear that, you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, or you're too old, you're too fat, you're too whatever a few things I've mastered.
Sure.
And if those led me to here, odds are if I stay on that trajectory, I'll get to where I'm wanting to go. And then what would my coach tell me if he was here in the room? And how would I behave if my coach was in the room? Sometimes that's all I need is just pretend my coach is, okay, I wouldn't eat that slice of pizza if my coach was watching and he knew I had to step on the scale. If my financial coach was watching, would I buy this car? No, that's out of my lifestyle. I need to buy this car so I can retire the way I want later. So acting like my coach is with me or asking my coach what he would do even when he's not here helps me stay on the straight and narrow.
I love that. Good answer. So you, of course, you've shared this. You have coaches in your life, coaches, mentors, leaders, the top people that speak into your life. I think that you also probably the partnership that you have with Casey is incredible because you can also take these things. You have to be in agreement for a lot of these things to happen.
Yes, sir.
You always know in some areas, Casey will know. What would Casey say? What would my wife say about the decision as well? But it is, if we don't care enough about the people that are in leadership in our life to listen to what they say, they don't have any need to be there in the first place.
100%.
But if we don't respect them enough for that, or if we respect them enough for that, we're always going to have that thought process. What would they think about the decisions I've made? And I used to teach, one of the earlier shows was, am I making my dad proud? My dad's passed on a few years ago. But what would my dad think of the decisions I make? Because, am I making them proud? Would they be proud of the things that I have done? And I used to call at a younger age and ask my dad for advice. I moved here 40 years ago, so I had other men in my life speaking into my life. But at the end of the day, the number one guy I wanted to make proud was my dad. Would my dad be happy with that decision? So you have a lot of those people in your life, and it's allowed you or helped motivate you to become that kind of person. Number one, that they're proud of, but also that you're proud of. You know that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, having good mentors, good leaders, and good coaches is everything. I've had the same coach since I was 14. He kind of took me under his wing, and he's been training me and coaching me for 26 years. And man, I'm so lucky and blessed. I don't know where the trajectory of my life would have been without him. But if you find someone that has your best interest at heart and has already walked that path and is good at that path, handcuff yourself to that guy. Learn as much from him as possible. Make it a mutual relationship where he's benefiting from you, you're benefiting from him. And there's no telling how far you can go together. Absolutely.
I love that. Good answer. Do you have a plan or pattern you use when you're setting future goals? We're going to be talking about one of your future goals here in a minute, things that you're striving for, but you teach that you've taught my daughter and you've taught other people in there about goal setting. And sometimes that goal is achieving the next stripe on their belt or maybe the next belt level. Do you have a pattern or plan that you teach that allows people to be better at setting goals?
Yes, sir. So martial arts, if it's taught right, it's already baked into the system. So I take that same process I use in martial arts and I just apply it to my retirement life, my financial life, all aspects of life, business. You always want a big, giant goal.
Right.
It's almost an imaginary goal because it's so big. So for martial artists, it's the black belt. And it's really the master, which, you want to be a 9th or 10th degree black belt, which takes 40, 50, 60 years. If you're teaching a 6-year-old to set a 60-year goal, I mean, you're talking about, hey, let's go to Mars. We're just having fantasy talks at this point.
Yeah, this is so big, I'll never be able to achieve
Exactly.
that.
So I like that, but it's almost not actionable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, yeah, someday I want to be a billionaire. Cool. What are you doing today? I don't know. It's just so big, you don't work towards it. So I do like the giant goals, just to kind of like go for my compass.
Mm-hmm.
However, the giant goals have no actionable steps. So then in martial arts, we chunk it up to the next belt. So depends on the style, whether it's jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, or whatever. The next belt might be 2 years away. It might be 6 months away. Well, 2 years is still a really big, almost unactionable goal. So now I go, okay, the next stripe. I could be eligible for my next stripe in 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
6 weeks is starting to become a reality. 6 weeks, okay, I more or less know what my life will be like in 6 weeks. For me to achieve that 6-week goal, what do I need to do today? And then with my students, they have to learn 6 weeks worth of curriculum. If you skip a week, it's going to be really hard to pass that curriculum test because we're going to test you over the techniques we taught for the last 6 weeks. If you took 2 weeks off, the chance of you passing is almost zero unless you failed last time and you remember those moves from last time. So in martial arts, those strike goals keep you motivated for the day-to-day. Show up on Tuesday because this is on the strike test. So how does that apply to everyday life? Maybe if my ultimate goal is I want to retire with X amount, that means every single month I need to put X amount away. For me to put X amount into my savings account this month, I need to make sure I'm not hitting Starbucks twice a day.
Right.
I'm talking to me because I'm a coffee junkie.
Me too. I'm different spirits, brother. Coffee junkies.
Does your daily actions line up with your weekly goal? Does your weekly goal line up with your monthly goal? Does your monthly goal line up with your yearly goal? And does your yearly goal line up with your ultimate goal? And if the answer is no, you're not goal setting correctly. You want to work the math problem backwards. Look at your imaginary
reverse engineer.
Yeah,
you're right. You're exactly right.
And I love having those small goals because they put pressure on me.
Yeah.
If I said I want to be XYZ by 60, I'll get to work on that in my 50s.
Yeah.
If I want XYZ to be accomplished in the next 6 weeks, I got to work today. So I love chunking it up into a smaller goal.
I love that. That has been applying to my life. Some of you know, you've watched the show. I met Ty when I was new in real estate 9 years ago. And he walked into an open house I was having at another house. And we started a relationship then. I had goals of where I wanted to be at 60 and 65 and when I wanted to retire. I was fixing to turn 50 when I got into real estate. So I wasn't going where I wanted to be, doing what I was doing. So I changed and I said, if it's going to be now or never, it's now or never. So I got into real estate and it took a couple of years to start getting my feet under me and doing well. And so I constantly tell myself that I'm behind schedule. I'm fixing to be 60 that later this year. And while I have attained in the last 5 years quantum leaps forward, which has been very good for me, I'm still nowhere near as far along as I thought I would be. So I'm continuously re-chunking up my action steps to take the next step. And it was
so cool seeing your process. Because I think when I met you, not at the school, but at the open house, I think you were like mentoring under somebody.
I was.
Or their assistant, or I'm not sure the terminology.
Yep.
And I could tell your confidence wasn't there, but man, I could tell you were hustling. And I'll take a hard, just like a coach.
Yeah.
I'd rather have someone who's a grinder than natural talent. Is natural talent without work ethic worthless to me?
Yep.
You were a grinder. And I knew you were going to be awesome. And man, if you want to sell your house or buy a house, I send all my friends to Patrick. He has put me in 2 dream houses for prices I can't believe I got for him. And then he sold both my houses for very fair rates. So
wow, thank you.
You hooked me. You hooked my family up.
This was not a plug. I'll take every shameless plug I can get. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But today's about you, not me. So it's all good. Thank you. That was good. You meeting you guys when I did is part of the reason, learning what I learned from you guys as well. And it's as little as I knew in the beginning, you still trusted me enough to lead you, advise you, and you trusted me, even though sometimes you might have said, well, how does that work? Why do we need to do that? And I would explain to you why, and you said, I trust you, Patrick. And I'm like, and it worked out. It was good, and that has meant the world to me. And that discipline, and that I have shared that with you, the discipline you have, the courtesy, the politeness, and the belief, all of that has helped probably shape me as well as I continue to move forward in this real estate journey. I appreciate that. How important is downtime or rest in your practice or workout routine? I hear a lot of people that tell me, I'm taking a sabbatical, I'm going through burnout, I've been hustling, I've been grinding, and I'm plateaued. I can't get to the next level. I think I just need a sabbatical, or I need a change of pace. What do you say to that? Is downtime or taking a break or really just, it could even be as simple as muscle rest. How important are those things?
I do think you need rest. I don't like downtime. Like if I hit a PR on a workout, I probably need to rest that muscle group tomorrow. I agree with that 100%. I think a lot of time when I hear people say they need downtime, I think it's code for lazy. You got to find something that you love. Even if you don't love every aspect about your work, which I don't love everything I do, I don't mind doing 80-hour work weeks. I'm super passionate about what I do. I love what I do. If I didn't get paid to do it, I would just do it less, but I would still do it.
Right.
Yeah. So find something you're incredibly passionate about. It might be, if you're an artist, it might not just be drawing pictures and selling them. It might be, I'm going to be a marketing director, but I'm going to use my artistic skills in a way that fulfills me, that fulfills my passion. If you're a people person, maybe you're going to become a sales guy because now you're going to be interacting with people on a regular basis. Find a job that does line up with your values and then go all in, immerse yourself. When I'm not at the gym, I go to other people's gyms and I'm training and I'm leveling up. What happens is, what I see, at least my profession, you dump everything you got on the mat, and the next day you dump everything you got on the mat. The next day you dump everything you got on the mat, and then you start phoning it in. But you're not refilling you.
Mm-hmm.
So I love a couple times a quarter, I'll fly somewhere or drive somewhere. I'll take a seminar from somebody else.
Uh-huh.
I'll go one town over. I'll buy a private lesson. I refill me. I recharge me. I got to sharpen my sword if I want to go home and sharpen my student's sword, so to
Absolutely.
speak. So find something you love where it doesn't seem like work. I was in the hot tub last night watching a private lesson on my phone. And, if it was doing math problems on my phone, that would have seemed like work. But to me, researching different combos or teaching strategies, it didn't seem like work. So find something you love doing and then become the best version of you possible, and then find a way to monetize it where you can use that God-given skill or talent you have and apply it to the business world. And then 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-hour work weeks aren't fun. When I crush an 80-hour work week and we're productive, that's a party, man. That feels like a win.
Yeah.
And when you surround yourself with winners, they like to win also. And then when you get a boat full of people all paddling in the same direction, even though you're grinding and hustling and working, it feels like a party to the finish line.
Absolutely. Man, that is so powerful. I don't know if you guys are taking notes, but Ty is dropping bombs here. Bomb after bomb. I love it. The thing that you said that strikes home with me probably the most is there are, in the real estate world, the market has changed. It's been very busy for a couple of years. You could throw a rock and find a house to sell on any given day and get multiple offers. Interest rates are up. The economy's a little shakier. Inflation is higher. So the market itself continues to slow down a little bit. I'm looking off camera, looking at my whiteboard on the wall, and we're looking at nearly a dozen properties under contract right now and more listings coming up, and scheduled more photos last night for another big property coming up for sale in Timber Creek. Beautiful canyon rim property. And it's absolutely true. If you think you're to the point of where I just need some downtime, I've been grinding, I've been hustling, there could be a season of lazy trying to hit you, right?
Yes,
where
sir.
You're not passionate about what you do, and you've been doing it for the wrong motivation. Maybe your motivation's off, and you've been doing it for the money. You said, I'm going to grind for a couple of years, But when it gets hard, all of a sudden you're demotivated, that you're stressed out. You're like, maybe I should go get another job. A lot of times take the discipline, find some motivation. I get demotivated whenever I get tired, and I do, like you said, about once a quarter, go to a convention, go to a seminar, and go level up, because that's when they pour back into you.
Yes, sir.
And you come back and have some more fuel in the tank to give to other people.
How many times have you gone to one of those and you learned something you already knew, but you weren't doing? That's the easiest, because you already know how to do it.
Every time.
Yeah, I'm same.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to hear the same information one more time, maybe from a different source, or maybe just one more time again from the same source. But I love it when my instructor reteaches me something I already knew.
Yeah.
So I don't have to spend the time to develop that skill. I already have it. I just got to dust it off.
Someone's got to kick me in the butt. I used to have a little league coach when I was a kid, Ernie Luther, and he wore these like size 13 wingtip shoes out there on the little league baseball field. And if we were doing pop fly drills, if you dropped the ball or didn't catch the ball, you'd get the inside of the foot up against the butt, and he'd come kick you in the butt. What are you doing, Lee? You dropped the ball. And I'm like, I'm sorry, coach. Sometimes now as adults, we just need that kick in the butt,
yes,
that reminder, that refresher. Hey, I love what I'm doing. Maybe I've been a little tired. I need to go and refuel your tank. Instead of downtime, go to a seminar. I'm doing one later today, a big Zoom on a new technology that I'm real interested in, because I want to be on the cutting edge. We talked about AI a little bit before the show and how that's going to affect business in the future. But I'm going to be watching a Zoom. I'm going to be on a webinar this afternoon to learn a little bit about, are there concepts of that I want to incorporate in my business. And these things continue to feed me. They fill my tank and help try to keep me in good form to teach the rest of the team as well. Great concepts. Let's talk about you. What is the next goal you're reaching for now? You're sitting here. Some of you know Ty, some of you don't. I've seen Ty in multiple weight classes and sizes and hairstyles over the years. And you're sitting here now kind of ripped up. You're thinner than I've seen you in quite a while. And I've been following you on social media as well. Some days you've taken like 15, 20, 30 rounds of training in one day. What are you going for? What's your next big goal?
So in August, I won the right to fight for the PKA, which is the Professional Kickboxing Association. And they offered me a big contract. They said, if you win this tournament, we'll make you rich and famous. I said, hold the phone.
Hold on.
You don't have to make me famous.
Just
rich. And they haven't started their league yet, but I won one of the rights to be either a main event or a title contender right away.
Right.
And they told my coach a number that sounded really good for us. So we're like, all right, I'll take off all the pads and fight with no pads for that much money if they offer it. And they haven't had their first fight yet, so they haven't offered it. So I was in decent shape, and I wanted to kind of let it ride. So we've been looking for the right title fight, and there's a big tournament in Europe, and I've always wanted to fight overseas. I was supposed to twice. Once I was supposed to fight in Ireland. I think it was the year 2000. It's when Mad Cow hit. Yeah. And if you went to Ireland that summer, you were coming back to a 2-week quarantine. I think I was 18 or so. I told my parents, 2-week military quarantine is not that bad.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, no, dummy, you're not going to that one. And then a few years ago, I was supposed to fight for a belt in Jamaica, which would have been awesome.
Sure.
And then some knuckleheads started kidnapping Americans for hostage. So they didn't let any Americans or Canadians come to that event. So my 2 times I was supposed to fight overseas, something came up. So hopefully third time's a charm. Next week I'm flying to England. I'm going to fight for they're calling it the national title for the European Championship. And I asked them, I go, I'm not from Europe. Can I still win the European national title? They go, you bet if you think so. So they're letting me come. So I've leaned up. I was walking around about 195, give or take. Depends if I was eliminating choice or letting myself have donuts in the breakfast.
Absolutely,
for breakfast.
Yeah.
I was about 195 around Valentine's Day, so I went real hard on the black belt diet, and I'm down to 172. I need to lose 1 more pound to make weight, and I'll be fighting in a full contact kickboxing match in 2 different events next week in England. So we're really excited. And my wife will actually turn 40 while we're over there. So we're going to stay for a few days after the fights and do her 40th birthday in England.
Wonderful. Man, this sports and competition that you've gotten into has been so good for you, good for your marriage, good for your business, good for your family. All of these concepts that you're teaching today, I'm so proud of you. This is the T-shirt. I'm on the Ty Garrett fight team, and we've got other local sponsors that are helping out. Love the shirt design. That is awesome. You're usually, a lot of times I see you online, you're dressed like Captain America or somebody. I think you're a huge Marvel and comic book fan, superhero fan,
Yes, sir.
just like I am, just like Erica, my daughter, is. A lot of us, we love that. So I see you dressed like Captain America a lot.
When Erica started, I don't know if you remember this. I don't know if she wants me to tell them this story, but
Go ahead.
sorry.
Too late, dirty
Erica's sitting here off camera watching her idol.
She was a white belt, and she had brown hair, and then she had one big white streak.
Yeah.
And I walked up to her. I go, man, you look just like Rogue. And she just lit up. She goes, that's what I was trying to look like. And then we started nerding out, talking about the X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was just a fluke. She happened to do it, but she was a huge X-Men fan too.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't hide my nerdum flag. I even renamed some of our moves.
Oh, yeah.
We have this one combo where you jab, then you fake the right, then you throw the left hook. The way we teach it, instead of jab fake, we call it the Captain America punch.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like you're hitting them with the shield, then you throw the left hook. So we really, and now our uniforms, half our uniforms are Marvel, Star Wars inspired. The kids love it.
When
I say the kids, I love it also.
Me too. Me too. Erica, I just offended Erica last week because one of the kids at church turned 18, and I had this Spider-Man shirt I used to wear. It was my favorite Spider-Man
From
shirt.
the original.
Erica, yeah, from the original first Spider-Man movie that came out, and I bequeathed that to my buddy Connor for his birthday. He's a total Spider-Man fan. Made his day. He wore it to church on Sunday. He came dressed as Spider-Man, and so I'm super proud of him. But yeah, I've been a huge superhero fan all of my life as well. Ty, you're one of my superheroes, man. I appreciate it. So you're going to be fighting in Europe next week. I'm confident that you're going to win that belt as an anniversary or a birthday gift for your wife. That's what she's saying. You're going to win that for my birthday, right? But everyone, we've gone a little over. It's well worth it when you're dropping bombs and talking to a good friend. I hope all of you were taking notes today on the concepts taught on the show. Remember, we do the show as a free service to you. If any of you are interested in buying a home, selling a home, or investing in real estate, click on the link to my digital business card scrolling across the ticker on the bottom of the show now. It will also be dropped in the comments below this video if you're watching on YouTube. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click on the subscribe bell. That always helps the channel grow on that platform as well. Like, love, review the show on your major podcast platform. And we always put in a bonus tip at the end of the show, and I thought this one was fitting today. Bonus tip for the day: don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you can't get it wrong, and you are sure to succeed moving forward. Remember this, people: courage begins at the end of your comfort zone. Get out there, get uncomfortable today. Thank you, Ty. I appreciate you coming to the show.
Thank you, brother.
Always a pleasure. We're all rooting for you next week.
Thank you, sir.
It's going to be a great time. Bye, guys. We'll see you next time.